Standing arm springs are considered more of an advanced exercise or set of exercises. However, I do not believe that you have to be an advanced body to start working with standing arm springs. And one way I have found to help people get acclimated to what they feel like is instead of using individual arm springs, or in my case, because I'm cheap, I just use the springs off the rollback bar, which are pretty strong enough for most people. When I have larger clients, stronger clients, way more advanced clients, I'll actually change out the arm spring for a light leg spring. In my studio, I have various sets of leg springs. So a yellow leg spring for really strong or larger individuals is really helpful. But when you're just starting out, I'll take the rollback bar down, clip it about shoulder height, which is really where you want your arm springs clipped regardless of what weight of spring. Now, instead of using handles, when you're just getting started, give more of a closed chain. Give more of something that keeps the body inside its own frame and actually still use the rollback bar. So I'm going to stand inside, okay? And the rollback bar is great because it gives you this parallel line to your collarbone. You can really get a good sense if you're level or working evenly. Now, the closer to the tower, the lighter the spring. Farther away from the tower, the more the spring has to open, more tension. You'll find that you have to play with the position back and forth, especially as people get stronger. They can do more. All right, so I'm going to pull together and give it this hug into center. I'm not thinking turn out, but just a little bit of external rotation to, wrap all the good stuff where it needs to be. Now, if we just make this about arms, and only my arms go into the spring, you're going to see a lot of reverb through the rest of my body, right? Check out my wrists. It's one of my big pet peeves, right? Joe was a boxer. You would never punch someone like this. That's how you break a wrist, okay? So find the floor. Drive all the way up through the spine. Instead of starting with the arms moving, start with weight shifting through the plumb line into the spring and exhaling, pulling back on top of. Being careful to not let the strength of the spring fling you backwards. And push from the feet up through the legs, hips, spine, into the strength of the shoulders and shift back. Now, once into the spring, again, if I only try to use my arms, we're going to get all this neck, we're going to get all this wibble. I want to keep driving that energy all the way from bottom to top. And as I exhale, I feel the spring push back into my core as much as I am pushing into the spring. Bring it back. I'm going to choose to exhale into the spring because I'm not very warm and I really need to stay together. And bring it back. Now, the farther I take the bar up, the harder it gets. Or rather, I should say the higher the bar, the higher the arms go. Because the farther away from center, they're going. But the magic is that it's not about your arms. What your arms are doing are taking the spring out away from you and pulling it back in. They're not moving the bar and pumping back and forth. Let me explain that further. I'm gonna back it up a notch so that, I look cool while I do this. Okay? So I'm gonna pitch into the spring, open up the springs a little bit. I'm gonna reach out into the bar. Now, the action of pushing out into the bar with my arms is causing the spring to push back into me, putting my back body and front body together in this angle. Now I'm going to inhale, and I'm going to lift my arms, but I'm not thinking throw my arms up over my head. No, I'm going to think keep pushing up into the spring, out into the spring, from my feet up through the legs, hips, up through the spine, and then finally through the shoulders and arms and even my hands. But then to bring it back down, I don't drop my arms. I think exhale and pull the spring back into me. Push the spring away. with every part of my body, pull the spring back in, versus push up the arms, drop the arms, push up the arms, drop the arms. One of them looks really controlled, one of them does not. Both of them are a thing. One of them could potentially put you in a little danger in your shoulder socket because you're dropping and hanging weight as you swing around in the joint, versus staying connected, tall, and articulating inside the shoulder girdle and with the shoulder girdle. My shoulder blades gotta move, y'all. They have to do the whole lift and abduct and invert and all those things. Start there with clients. And then as they get stronger, take the bar away, take it to the handles, and start playing around with what they can access in the arm spring series without having to say, this is really hard, so good luck.